is in the books. The 2024 NFL season has come to a close, and with it, so comes to a close the Wildcard Rewind podcast. This is our last ever show. This is our last ride. Let's get into it.
I just want to rewind to when we were young and hard. Back to all those good times. Take me back to the start.
That's right. It's hard to bring in kind of the energy for this episode because it is a sad one, but we're glad to go out with a bang. The Super Bowl is in the books, and you'll have seen on social media recently that we have taken the decision to stand down the podcast. So this is our last ever episode, but we're going to make it a fun one. We've got a very special guest. We've got the results of our predictor competition that we've been doing the whole time, and delighted to be joined by my fantastic co-hosts who I'm going to miss every single Monday evening, starting off with the wonderful Hannah. Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Lewis. Obviously sad. It's going to be dark days ahead, having Monday evenings on my own. But it's been an awesome run, and it's awesome to have everybody here together. I won't give it away yet, but kind of old guard, new guard. It's just going to be a fun evening. So looking forward to going out with a bang.
Absolutely. And my other wonderful co-host, Paul, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, mate. I've had a day where I'm very hungover, but I feel like my body's just been saving the energy for this show right here. And I'm probably feeling the best I've felt all day today, to be fair. And the fact that we've got this guy on, and we thought we wouldn't see his face for at least 2-3 weeks, after last night's performance, but he's here, and I'll let you introduce him,
Well, we are delighted to be joined by a previous host of the Wildcard Rewind, and maybe today the saddest man in fantasy football after the result of last night. Mags, thank you so much for coming to join us for our last show. How are you doing after yesterday?
I am fucking miserable, Lewis. I don't know about you guys. I've had the worst day. It feels like a bit of a bad dream. Yeah. Did not enjoy a second of the Super Bowl. It was awful from start to finish. Yeah. That's all I got. That's all I got. And now more sad news. The last rewind ever, but I am pleased to at least be a part of it. And I'm still here repping the Chiefs gear. We're just going to go again next year. It'll be fine.
You will be fine. It will all work out. And I want to start off by talking about the Super Bowl, and then we're going to get on to the results of our predictor competition. So the first thing I want to do to ask you all is just about where you watched it, because I think that's always really interesting. I watched it out for the first time ever. I've always either hosted a party, or like it's been COVID, or quite frequently I've been recovering from an ankle operation. But I watched it with my brother's university football team with all of the coaches, and it was genuinely mental. There was each player and coach, and also me, were given a player with the anytime touchdown odds, and the first player to score a touchdown got 5 points, and the second player to score a touchdown had to eat a whole block of cheese by the end of the first quarter.
Oh my God.
My brother had Jahan Dotson, and we were really excited about the prospect of getting those 5 pints, and then it ended up going to Jalen Hurts anyway. But yeah, the guy who had Eagles DST did not enjoy his cheese. It wasn't very fun for him.
And he definitely thought that was a safe bet as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'm okay here. It's not going to be the first one. Great.
I had a Kari Blasingame, who is one of the only players on the list that I had not heard of before, who is the Eagles fullback. The Eagles being a team that don't really use a fullback. So I felt pretty safe, considering
Is that his rap name? Like, what kind of name is that? Blasingame
name.
Yeah.
I will open up where we'll start off. Well, where did you guys, if any of you watched it anywhere particularly interesting, I won't go around the room. Where did you guys find yourselves last night?
So I went to Cardiff, and we ended up Coyote Ugly. Shout out to Coyote Ugly in Cardiff. We had, I think it cost us about £60 for a table, and we had this massive spread of chicken wings, chicken bites, buffalo sauce, everything like this. We had a couple of pitchers of beer and everything like that, and we just stayed there most of the night. The fun thing for me was we two of my mates from work were like, "Oh, piss up in Cardiff on a Sunday. I'm game." So they came along, and they know nothing about NFL. So we were trying to educate them and give them hints and tips about it and stuff like this. And they were like, "Oh, who's this Patrick Mahomes?" We were like, "He is genuinely one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL," and everything like that. And one of the lads turned to me at one point and went, "This guy's the best fucking quarterback in the NFL. Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, I have no words for you, okay, mate? I can't explain to you. He is one of the best, but he's also playing probably one of the best defenses in the league, and they're not letting him play. And I was like, I was trying to explain it, and we compared him to, like, because he's a big football fan. It was like, you know, he's like the Cristiano Ronaldo or the Lionel Messi of the football world and stuff like that. And he was there like, and he just spent the whole game going, "This guy is shit, okay? Don't tell me." You know, so it was a lot of fun. We drank a lot of beers. There was a lot of cocktails done, and yeah. So I'm suffering today, but it was totally worth it. Totally worth it.
How about for you, Magdi?
Well, I was at the Ireland-Scotland rugby game at Murrayfield earlier on in the day, so I went out there with some friends, had a few beers out in Edinburgh afterwards, then got home, had a nap, got up, very excited. That faded quickly. And then, yeah.
Mag totally went to bed at halftime.
I thought about it. And it's like, no, you know what? I was excited for Kendrick Lamar. I thought, and that kind of picked my spirits up a bit, and then the second half started, and it was back to that same old feeling. Yeah, nothing special. I'm gonna have to change the routine now. I can't do that next year because we're going to be back. We're going to be back next year.
You've got. I think when it's your team, it's way worse. It's way less fun. And obviously you've watched your team now win 3, but also lose 2. But I think like I enjoy the Super Bowl way more when it's a neutral event than the 2 that I've seen the Rams in. Like that's not, I've watched both of the Rams Super Bowls by myself, and it's not a fun experience.
No.
I can't.
No, even the win last year was not, I did not enjoy that game last year either. I was just so nervous and stressed. Like it's just, yeah.
Yeah, at least the rest of us have got to see our team in a Super Bowl. Even if it didn't go very well for Hannah, Paul, you're still waiting in hope.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. Honestly, I feel the way I feel at the moment. I think if Cardinals made it, I'd be like, I'm going out to the wherever it is. I'm not going to go in the stadium. I just want to be there, just to be like, they were here. I've seen them here.
How about you, Hannah? Where did you watch the game?
I'm so boring. I was actually asleep during the Super Bowl, and I watched it on the train this morning. I'm sorry. I'm old and boring. If the Bengals get in it again, I will have the day off. But until then, and particularly, I'm sorry, Mags, but Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl again. I just was like, I'm not staying up for it. It doesn't feel worth it to me.
It wasn't worth it.
Obviously, as a Bengals fan, I was quite pleased that the Eagles won. Sorry, just because we're rivals. Well, we used to be. Yeah. We might not be now.
Hey, Joe Burrow's comeback player of the year, right? That's gonna work.
Unfortunately,
in your favor, right?
he's one of the only good players on our team. This is the problem.
You got Jamar Chase. He's okay as well, isn't he?
Well, we haven't paid him yet, have we? That's the problem.
True.
Many people to pay. And they don't like to pay, so this is going to be a bit of a disaster off season. I think this may be the time that I change my allegiance, depending on what they do. So we'll see. Definitely not. I mean, as much as I love you, Paul, not that much.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that misery on you, Hannah. If I'm honest, I wouldn't wish this misery on anyone.
Yeah, I do think I'd have to go to the NFC. It feels wrong to do somewhere in the AFC, but I'm still struggling to find who I'd like. See, I like the Lions are fun, right? But I'm like, do I want to like tie my flag to them? Because I think they're probably just gonna, dip again.
Are the Lions still the official team of the whenever we first started?
They
The
were.
Lions were. We were always wondering. It's like this team's playing so well, and they lose by 3 points every week. But they're real. Like it's like I promise they're really good, and then they finally did come good. So
I was devoted when they didn't make it this year, I have to say.
Yeah,
I really thought this is their time. But
I didn't realize that was before my time. I didn't realize that the Wildcard Rewind had an official team. I know we had a sponsor. We had our Rashid
Rashid
sponsorship. Which unfortunately, we're all going to have to pass back our $20,000 for next season.
I'm not passing it back. He hasn't replied to my emails.
Well, he got injured midway through the season, so I think that that like voided the deal on his side.
Yeah.
yes.
yeah, we can just keep whatever he gave us.
Well, we'll be all right. I wanted to ask a few more questions about the Super Bowl, but I don't know, Mags, if with you here, if I want to put you through that.
Yes,
Let's
you
do it.
definitely do.
Let's
You
go.
definitely do.
I'm ready. Yeah.
So the big one is, where do the Chiefs go from here, right? What does this offseason look like for a Chiefs team that came so close but then weren't? So the Chiefs obviously had a weird season, right? It was all one-score victories. You weren't ever particularly dominant, but you Chiefs your way into the Super Bowl and then got completely run over. The first question, like, what do you think happens to Travis Kelce this offseason? Do you think that desire is gone and he's going to go be a full-time podcaster? Or do you think he's hungry enough for one more?
It's so difficult to tell. Like he's the oldest player on the Chiefs team. Like I don't think people quite realize just what is he? He's like 34, 35. So he is towards that
basically ancient, isn't he? You know?
Yeah, like
4 years younger than me. Like
yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked if he retired. I wouldn't be shocked if he came back either. But we're just going to see another reduction in what we've seen this year. It'll be less passes, less targets, less everything for him. But he might come back. We kind of seen like you can't use him in the blocking game anymore, really at all. Like he used to be okay at that. He just got annihilated last night with it. So that's unfortunate. I bet right now he wants to retire, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. He'll probably take a while to think about it and then come back. I just have a feeling he'll go one more. Just in the back of my mind, I think he'll do one more and he'll announce he's retiring at the end of the year, and we'll have the Travis Kelce farewell tour.
he's 35, Mags. He's 35. He'll be 36 in October.
My question is, like, if you're the Chiefs, are you going to say, Travis Kelce, we love you, you're amazing, you've been a really integral part of this team up until now, but, you are slowing down, you're not quite as useful to us as you used to be, thank you for your time and everything, but maybe it's time for you to move on. Like, I kind of feel like this would be the perfect time for the Chiefs to do that. And I think if they cling on to him for another year, it's kind of a bit like you're doing it just because it's him rather than he's going to be useful to you. Yeah. And I know he'll probably have the odd, bit of a game where he makes a great catch and, it means that they win or whatever. But I just think they're getting fewer and further between. And so is it worth just saying thank you, but we're ready to move on? We love you so much. You can retire a Chief. You're going to go into the Hall of Fame. Now's your time. I think I would start something like that. But would they do it to him, do you think, though? Would be my question.
I will never underestimate an organization's ability to be ruthless and cutthroat. There's no love lost in any of these franchises. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. It is interesting. This is a year where there are 2 tight ends, maybe 3, where the Chiefs could go out and draft a replacement. Colson Loveland seems like a ready-made replacement for Travis Kelce. So that would be interesting. Do they go down that road where they, like, Noah Gray's been good, but he's not anything special? Like, he doesn't get on many other teams in the NFL. So that would be interesting to see if in the draft they go with a tight end to try and replace him. But I just don't see how the Chiefs don't try and sort offensive line after that performance.
I'm sorry, I'm going to butt in again.
No,
But if you
Carry
were
on, Hannah.
if you were the Chiefs, would you prioritize tight end or wide receiver? Because to me, I do think there's a big hole in wide receiver still.
There's a big Rashi Rice shaped hole, so hopefully he'll come back. He's really good. I'm a big Rashi Rice fan, and he did a lot of the stuff that Travis Kelce was able to do 4 years ago, like that short yardage stuff, the yards after the catch. He's really good at that. I think the Chiefs really missed him. I don't know what the situation is with DeAndre Hopkins, what he's looking like for his contract, but he's looked up. I can't believe he dropped that damn pass.
I was going to
Still,
say, after that drop last night, he needs to be sacked.
That was the official moment where I had a blanket near me, and I just put the blanket over my head and just couldn't watch for a little while. That was the moment that really killed me. The D-Hop drop that crushed me. So I don't know what's happening with him. Xavier Worthy had a good game, right? He looked good.
Had a good fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, I like Worthy as well. Rice is good. You're right. There could be another wide receiver put in there, but that would be a free agency. So hey, maybe we'll go get T. Higgins on it, right?
That would be a disaster for us. I actually think I would have to then walk away. Be like, no, that's it. I'm done. I'm full on done. You think they pay him
Bengals
though?
will normally find their way to do the stupidest thing possible.
Oh,
So
don't. I know.
I can see them finding a way.
Yeah.
Oh God, just don't. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Trey Hendrickson. Disaster. Complete disaster. I would love
an elite running back at the Chiefs as well. I think the Chiefs will be like, Pacheco is fun. Kareem Hunt is like, if you need Kareem Hunt to get 2 yards, he'll get you 3. If you need him to get 4 yards, he'll get you 3. Yeah, like that's what Kareem Hunt's all about. So, and this is the class to do it. There are 10 guys you'd be happy with your team drafting at running back. So that would be a lot of fun to see Chiefs get a new running back. Something in that offensive line. Don't know what exactly can happen. Joe Tooney can't continue to play out left tackle. He's got to move back to guard. Yeah, there's work to be done, which is weird considering that only lost 2 games technically, but only lost 1 game really in the year and looked fairly smooth and in control. And then you think there's a lot of work to be done here.
I think it's always difficult though, isn't it, when you're drafting at the end of the first round? Like blue chips are all already gone, and I think like for your left tackle issue, I think that's where the problem is. At that point you're getting projects at that position, so there's only so much you can do really.
Yeah, and then free agency is like a mess. Like both our teams have ended up playing Orlando Brown too much money in the past 5 years, so it's so difficult.
Let's have a little chat about the Eagles for a minute, and because I just want to spare you any more misery, Max. How do we feel? I'm gonna start with you, Paul. Do you feel like off the back of the season that we have just watched, that the Eagles are the deserving Super Bowl champions, that is the best team in the NFL, and you are happy with them off the back of the 2024? That's the season that the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
That's a horrible question. That's a really horrible question. No. I think after last night's game, yes, that was phenomenal. I don't think I've seen a team play like that and make a team as good as the Chiefs look that bad all season. But I think there's been times this season where a lot of people are like, wow, these Eagles are not as good as what they were. And there's been a lot of question marks over their head. So I hate you for asking me that question, to be honest. That's a really horrible. There was no good way I was coming out of that. But no, I think, to be honest, I think Hannah said earlier, I was gutted that the Lions didn't do it. I think they were the team for me that probably deserved that opportunity. And I hate to say it, but injuries sort of ruined their chances and really affected them at the end, But that performance by the Eagles last night they were unreal, and they deserved everything they got last night.
And one of the always I find the really interesting things is that the Super Bowl odds for next season come out like the moment the game finishes. And I don't know if any of you have seen currently, but would you like
are
a
the
guess?
49ers third again?
No.
Because they love to do that every year. So like, oh yeah, Chiefs are first, 49ers are like third, And it's like,
Well, I wondered if you guys, if you haven't seen it, if you guys wanted to guess where the Eagles rank in Super Bowl odds for next season.
I have seen it.
Third. Paul, you said sixth. Hannah, you said
I've
you've seen it.
Yeah.
So the odds that I saw, they're fifth. So
Whoa.
it was Ravens. The one that I saw was Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Eagles.
But the problem with that is the Bill fans will still be crying from this year to actually try and get to the Super Bowl. They'll not be finished wiping the tears from their face like they always do when they lose to the Chiefs in the playoffs. So
No, but
that's an issue. And where's, while I'm on the Bills, actually, where's the rollback on the whole the fix is in? Where's Dave Portnoy and his other crybabies who were saying it was a fix, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, they've already planned this, the refs have won it for them, there's nothing anyone can do. Where's the rollback on that since the Chiefs lost and there wasn't a big fix the whole time, and actually the Chiefs were just better than your little crybaby team, Bills fans?
Can I just say, you've just brought this up about the refs, okay? I think the refs have made themselves look worse now because they would not give the Chiefs an inch or anything because they were like, oh, everyone thinks we're in the Chiefs' pockets. You're having fuck all now. You've just made yourselves basically gone, yeah, we're listening to what they're saying and we're going to do the opposite. And I was just like, you'd have been better giving the Chiefs a little bit of something. And it just felt like the refs were like, Chiefs are getting nothing here. Absolutely nothing.
I don't think it would have mattered.
No, it wouldn't have mattered.
I think we could have got every call and still lost by 20. Yeah.
Let's so let's finish up on the Super Bowl by getting to the results of our prediction game. So, all throughout this season, we ran a game where we predicted each week a stud, a scare, and a wild card. And the person who was the most wrong, and Mags, it's very important in future that I want you to remember the words most wrong, right? That's very, very crucial.
Got it.
The most wrong got a point. And the loser, the week after the Super Bowl, was going to have to do a monologue of the two other hosts choosing. Now, in standard Wildcard Rewind fashion, I came out on top, and these two finished joint last.
Just by like 1 point.
You say that like we're the Chiefs and you're the Eagles, but it was more like
2 points. I was 2 points clear.
A lot closer than that. It was a lot closer than that. You made yourself sound like you were like, true fashion. I was miles ahead, and the rest was just shit.
The refs did help me out, to be fair, because the ref quite frequently was me. So you guys came joint last, and so I messaged you a Super Bowl prediction challenge with 5 questions. That then the loser of that would have to do the monologue. And I'm going to start off by telling you the topics of both of your monologues, which I came up with yesterday before I knew who was going to be the loser. So, Paul, if you lose, your minute's monologue is why you think the Cardinals can only succeed if they cut Marvin Harrison Jr.
What the fuck's wrong with you, Lewis? What the fuck goes on?
And Hannah,
you know what I mean?
Hannah, your monologue is why you've always thought that Paul was the smartest wildcard rewind host.
Yes! That's good. Oh,
Paul has to lose this now. Come on.
I will donate £20 to any charity, Lewis, if you make sure that Hannah loses right now.
It's like,
Charity you want.
everyone wants me to lose now. I know that's the case.
Any charity. Max said the same. He'll donate 20 quid as well. That's 40 quid to any charity you want.
I'll donate 50.
So,
We all want to hear Hannah talk about that.
You can only pay fair.
there were 5 questions. The first question was final score. So Hannah said 34-31 Chiefs, and Paul said 35-28 Eagles. So that is a point to Paul.
Oh, come on, Eagles! I
Then
think that's the point I'm getting,
Then we had the first touchdown scorer. Hannah said Saquon Barkley. Paul said Xavier Worthy. It was Jalen Hurts, so that's no points to either.
Well, I feel like I deserve...
Hannah.
Okay, let's carry on. Okay.
Remember who chooses the winner before we want to interrupt and question the point scoring.
Okay, let's continue. But if
I
I
will say as
lose,
well,
I'm
'cause
going
Xavier Worthy
to be
actually did
questioning
score.
the refs. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but Mags, Xavier Worthy did score a touchdown. That might be
He did
important
actually
later.
score. Yeah.
Now, sorry, no, I don't believe that. Just you wait. Anyway, carry on.
It was the only happy thing that happened. That I remember it.
Last touchdown scorer.
You're loving this power, aren't you? You're
brilliant.
absolutely loving this power.
The next question was last touchdown scorer. Hannah said Travis Kelce and Paul said Saquon Barkley. The answer was Xavier Worthy, so that was no points to either. Then highest fantasy point scorer. Hannah said Jalen Hurts. Paul said Saquon Barkley. The answer was Xavier Worthy, but if this is of interest, it was Jalen Hurts until the last play of the game.
And they weren't trying at that point.
So keep that in mind. Then
it's like a fucking escape room, isn't it?
we had
codes and things everywhere,
Well, this I'm really just talking to Mags here, and your role's going to become important in a second. So then the final question, keep in mind it's currently 1-0 Paul, was Saquon's rushing yards. Paul said 103. Hannah said 98, and it was 57. So that point goes to Hannah for being closer.
Yes.
So they are on 1-1, and again, in classic Wildcard Rewind fashion, everything has to be a draw somehow, and we need to figure out another way to figure it out.
I can tell you how best to figure it out.
Nope, you can't. This is my argument to you, Max. And as the guest and as the true neutral, I would like you to make the decision.
He's not a neutral.
He's neutral.
Don't even make me lose. This is not fair.
I'm going to do this with the utmost integrity, Lewis. All right. So please let me know what it is so I can judge this accordingly.
So the crucial thing is deciding who is most wrong, right? So the two questions that they got right, obviously Paul correctly picked the Eagles, Hannah got the Saquon rushing points. Then the other two questions, between those, they both were close to a right answer. So Paul obviously picked that Xavier Worthy would score a touchdown. He was the only one of all of their three. So they picked three players between them. Xavier Worthy was the only correct touchdown scorer. Then, highest fantasy point scorer, Hannah got the second highest fantasy point scorer. So Hurts did score more than Saquon. So I would like you to choose between those two things. Is it more wrong, or is it which is closer to being right? Paul picking Xavier Worthy as the only touchdown scorer amongst three picks, or Hannah?
That was not the question. I'm sorry.
Hannah,
that was not the question. The question was who's scoring the first one, not who scored a touchdown. Otherwise, I would have said Xavier Worthy. It was who scores the first one. And I said an Eagles player, and an Eagles player did score a touchdown first.
Did Saquon score a touchdown?
No, but an Eagles player did. So I was right with an Eagles player.
So it doesn't matter then. If it wasn't
Xavier Worthy doesn't matter. He didn't score the first touchdown.
Mags. Which of those two? I'm going to mute Hannah because I fear she's going to keep interrupting. Mags, which of those two do you think should get the point?
What an excellent analysis, Lewis. First of all, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
No,
You know, I mentioned earlier, Lewis, how you love the power.
Yeah.
You've just passed that over to Mags now. Mags like,
grab that. Take it down here. Thank you.
I was trying to look for some dramatic music, but I can't find any. So I'm going to play some gentle dance pop.
Ooh, love it. This is excellent. This is good. So, first of all, two excellent candidates here. You know, it's going to be really difficult to choose between both of them. Paul doing very, very well to identify Xavier Worthy as a touchdown scorer. Hannah doing very well to identify Jalen Hurts as one of the top end fantasy points scorers. If I'm thinking which of those is the most impressive feat to identify, I do think that it was more obvious that Jalen Hurts was going to be the top fantasy scorer than Xavier Worthy.
I'm sorry, but listen to this, right? I'm sorry, I can't agree. Because if it was that obvious, Paul could have picked him, but he didn't.
So, but I do have a spanner to throw in the works, though, because I'm not sure about something. A couple of months ago, you had me on as a guest to take the place of Hannah, and a great injustice was done.
That's
when
true.
I correctly identified that a rookie would finish in the top 12 for all positions and was penalized for it, despite Bucky Irving finishing as the running back 1 overall. So my question is, was that miscarriage of justice ever solved? Because if it wasn't, that would put Paul Pickett in sole position of the last place, which shocks absolutely nobody on the screen or watching at home. And the look on Paul's face as the rug is being pulled out. That's what I looked like last night, Paul.
It don't bother me.
So that is my question. If it was rectified, I think that Paul would have to do the monologue. But if it wasn't, if it was rectified, then Hannah will have to do the monologue. If it wasn't, it has to pass to Paul. So Lewis, we've ended up at a stalemate again here somehow, and I don't really know how.
Okay, I do have. I'm going to put on this one's called "Feeding the Ducks," which maybe that's more dramatic.
I like this one.
So, I do have the results in front of me from week 17. And I can confirm for the wild card, we gave both Hannah and both you, Mags, and Paul a point that week, which means that mistake was not rectified.
Yes.
Which means I think from this completely fair adjudication panel that I have brought in, Paul Pickin is the loser of the Wildcard Rewind Predictions Challenge.
Yes. Thank you, Mags.
Is he pretending that he's losing signal?
Loser.
He's cutting out just like Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be.
So, Paul, how do you feel? Do you feel like justice has been served? Do you feel upset? Do you feel annoyed? Do you feel like Hannah tried to argue her way into it too much?
I feel like one of us sat here and went, do you know what? I'll take whatever punishment comes. And one of us sat here going, oh no, my player did this, and oh, my player did that, my player did this. And I feel like Mags had the power to make Hannah talk for a full minute about how smart I am on the rewind. And he failed to seize that opportunity. And in true Chiefs fashion, you know, somebody whinge into the ref. Oh, ref, please. Oh, ref, please. He's gone, oh, yeah. All hail the power. We'll do this for you. Oh, Patrick Mahomes, you know. So, it's just
So I'm the Patrick Mahomes here. Great
You are.
news.
you are.
The thing is, Paul, that everybody knew that I would be lying, so they couldn't, possibly make me do that for a whole minute.
Well, Max could have, but he didn't seize that opportunity. But
I just believe in justice so much, Paul.
Yeah, I think Max knew we've just got to put everyone in their rightful place, and it wouldn't be right to finish our final show without Paul being on the bottom.
I did think about making Hannah lose and then revealing that and then making Paul do the monologue as well, but I thought that'd be too mean.
We should have done that. That would have been so much better to watch Hannah do that, and then you go, "Oh, actually, there was a point for this."
Actually,
And,
no, I
and then
remember,
Lewis rewinding it and going, "Yeah, do you know what? We will make Paul do it as well." You know? But,
Yeah.
Max is just nice, you see, unlike you two. Now everyone knows why we're closing this.
I have to say, I did really enjoy that when Lewis was going there, and he had to mute you because you kept going, "Yeah, but no."
That's the Bengals fan coming out of Hannah right there. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can never
Well-
switch Hannah. That's like, yeah.
I've got to scrap and fight to get where I need to go because no one else is going to help me.
Well, let's close off. Not the show. We've still got the show for a while, but let's close off our prediction challenge. Paul,
Over to you.
I'm going to give you the mic. Would you like any music in the background? I've got a lovely choice.
You got to remind me what I'm doing here.
You have a minute's monologue on why the Cardinals will only succeed if they cut Marvin Harrison Jr.
Thing is, it could be true. Wasn't that good, was he? Yeah.
It's a good topic.
Mm.
Mate,
Paul,
you
you're
just,
tight.
like I'm just you've thrown me on the spot here, and I'm like, how the am I meant to do this?
All right. Well, your time is going to start.
I'm going to start on the 30.
All right.
All right, here we go. Come on then. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to tell you in the next minute how the Cardinals will succeed without the legend that is Marvin Harrison Jr. First of all, they need to cut him because he's a big crybaby and he doesn't really do much in any of the plays. He doesn't really show up. He's a bit of a nobody, and we need somebody like a Xavier Worthy, you know, a guy that'll catch a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. And if we get rid of him, we get rid of Marvin Harrison Jr., bring in Xavier Worthy, and we could probably build the team, and we'll have more money to spend on an O-line and everything like that, and we'd be so much better as a complete team without a prima donna in the wide receiver room, and that's the answer. That's the answer to take us to the Super Bowl. And you watch Super Bowl 69, the Cardinals will be there without Marvin Harrison Jr. That's fucking horrific. Marvin, I didn't mean any of it. I love you, bro. Stay forever.
That's going to be
Stay forever.
clipped and posted at Marvin Harrison Jr.
Max, if you do that, I swear to God, I'll ruin your wedding day.
I bring in Marvin Harrison Jr.
Me and Marvin Harrison Jr. It's going to be your wedding day.
Yeah.
But I will say, I have to say, okay, it's been a lot of fun all season doing that, and we've had many of laughs, and there's been controversial picks and everything like this. But and Hannah, I know we were having a laugh then about whose picks are what's and everything like this, and I said we should have done this and whatever. But ultimately, I feel like the right decision was made because we did make a mistake with that thing with Mags. I will hold my hands up. There was an error there. I missed it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you hadn't have got that point, I would have lost by 1 point. So justice was served, and I've had a lot of fun doing it, and it's been wicked, to be fair.
Yeah, it was good fun. I often got things wrong. Well, we all did, didn't we? To be fair, it wasn't exactly
I like to lose graciously, you know.
Oh, well.
The
thing is,
it has been so fun to listen to all year. I usually listen to you guys in the car on a Tuesday, usually Tuesday drive into work. I catch half of the show on the drive in, the other half on the drive out, and it always just made me laugh so much every single Tuesday. So that was a hell of a lot of fun. Gonna miss it, guys. Can't lie.
Well, I wondered if it would be nice to close out. We're gonna reminisce a little bit, but I obviously joined late. And Paul, I believe you were initially the person that started up the rewind by getting in touch with Kev saying you had this idea for a show. And I think it would be quite nice if we could just go around a little bit and sort of tell the stories of how we ended up joining the Wildcard Rewind. Have a think about sort of the history of the Rewind to date. And Paul, if you could kick us off, sort of where the rewind started with you.
So I'm trying to think. Was it 3 years ago now? I think it's 3 years. I think we do. Yeah, we've done this 3 years now. So I was in touch with Kev, and I used to listen to the Fantasy Wildcard podcast. Obviously, I was chatting to Kev, and I was like, "Oh, I'd love to like do a podcast and everything like that." And he was like, "You know, we sort of bounced ideas off each other, and we came up with this idea." And then he changed my life forever with one message. He said, "I've got somebody I want you to meet." And then that was it. Then this brotherly connection between me and Mags came, and it was like that was it. Then we were there, and it was we had a foundation, and then we decided that we needed a third person as well, because
Thank God, by the way, what a disaster that would have been. But just
it lasted about 6 weeks. Like, you know what I mean? But it was one of them where Hannah was a really easy choice, as you know, we laugh, we joke, we take the piss out of each other, but Hannah is probably one of the most intelligent people when it comes to fantasy football and everything like this that I know. So it was the three of us, and you know, Kev was like, "It's better as three of you," and I completely agree with him, because you know, as you've learned, Lewis, there's times where two of you can make it, one can't, or three of you can make it, and stuff like that. So it's so easy if there's three of you, because if there's two of you, one can't make it, all of a sudden you're left on your own. So yeah, so this idea came, and then Kev helped us build the show, the idea, the principle, then put us all in a sort of group together, and that was it. We built it, and then Mags came up with the Rewind theme tune, didn't you? You did that, and that song has like changed my life. I love it, absolutely love it. And Wildcard Rewind was born. And you know, to start with, we didn't even really chat much about fantasy football, did we? It was all about like just normal football and everyday, like, you know, defensive side of the ball, offensive side of the ball, everything like that. And we did a prediction thing in that, didn't we, as well, where we were trying to predict scores, and you know,
who lost that? Who lost that?
I don't know. I can't remember, Max. That was 3 years ago. I don't live in the past, you know. But you know, the amount of times, one of my favorite things with you guys is the amount of times we would like literally want to talk about every game, and we were like 40 minutes in, and we still had like 6 games to go, and we were just like, shit, we're gonna have to cut this bit, cut that bit, cut this bit in the private. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was just like so much, and like every week we were like, and because then we had something on StreamYard that was like you had to keep it under an hour. The amount of times we were like, yeah, bye, play music, and then just cut it like, and it's like 59 minutes, 59 seconds, just, and it was just amazing. But it just blossomed. It just blossomed. I couldn't think of 3 people better to start, you know, or 2 people better to start a podcast with than you two, you know.
We used to have Game of the Week. Do you remember that was our first segment? And we always said it was going to be 20 minutes, and it was like 40 minutes. And then we were like, trying to fit everything else in. We were never good with time management. We weren't Kev on that one.
No, we weren't. We didn't have a Kev. We didn't have a Kev on our show, did we? To keep us in check. It was more of a let's just go fucking nuts, like, you know.
Well, as you've seen tonight, we just like to chat, don't we?
Yeah, that was the game of the week. That was how the Lions thing came about, because
we
always the Lions.
We always pick the Lions.
They were always in these high-scoring, amazing games, and they would always lose. You're like, come on, like they're so close. Like we just got to root and like started going, and then like Dan Campbell and everything. It was just like, oh, I love these guys.
Do you remember the weeks where we were like, guys, we can't pick the Lions for a high-scoring game. We need to pick a different team, just to show that we're not picking the games with all the touchdowns every week, like, you know, because ultimately, as much as, you know, we love football and stuff, we're more offensive minded people because we play fantasy football. So we want to talk about the games where it was 70 points on the board. We didn't want to talk about a game that was like 12-9 or something like that, and 2 good defenses battled it out. We wanted to chat about this, but we kept trying to tell ourselves each week, it was like, let's pick a game that was quite low scoring, just so we show a bit of like fairness around everything. And let's not pick the Lions this week, you know?
But secretly, we're like, it was definitely the Lions. Like, we were like, yeah, it was the Lions again this week. Yeah, it was. I mean, what you kind of covered most of that, Paul. It was like I had literally started the Dynasty Hot Seat and put out one episode, which was just me, like on my own, just doing it. This is the show. And Kev messaged me and was like, "Oh, like we got a show. Like if you wanted to get on board." I'm like, "Well, I've only just kind of plucked up the courage to start my own." Like this is a bit weird. Like did not expect that to happen. So it's like I've just went from 0 podcasts to 2 podcasts in the space of 10 days, which was quite bizarre. But I was like, you know what? Yeah, why not? Why not? And yeah, we chatted to Paul. I was like, well, oh, absolutely. Like it's just been an absolutely wild ride. Like from then on, like it was, yeah, you're right. It was all about just watching the games and just chatting shit most of the time. Like we had the predictions. I always remember, I asked you, Paul, once, was like, pick a player to get an interception, and you were like, no, like you're furious. At the time, you're like, how am I ever going to be able to do that? So it was always fun coming up with the over-unders on different things and trying to get a pick, and that the whole competition side of it was really good fun. Yeah, the theme tune. When I first heard that, I was like, this is unlike any other like podcast, especially fantasy football, where everyone's either got like some kind of acoustic techno or like some kind of like instrumental rock. No one's got lyrics, and it just I think it really stands out and stood apart. And yeah, it's gonna be sad not to hear that song, because it is absolutely epic. Might have to, I don't know, we'll have to find a way to work that into some other shows somehow. We should start another one, guys. Let's do it.
What you should do on the Dynasty Show is do our rewind moment of the week, you know, and then just play the rewind intro, you know, and just be like, I just want to rewind.
I'm gonna find a way. I'm finding a way to work it in. I'm gonna do it. I can't not have that song. I don't even know who sings it, actually. I should probably look up the band. Like, I have no idea. Like, I found it on a free music archive. I was like, the show's called Wildcard Rewind. Let me type the word rewind in. First song that came up was like, this is perfect. Like, this is perfect. Like, it was just so easy. It's like, this whole podcasting thing is absolute breeze.
How about for you, Hannah? Where were you beforehand and then when you got involved?
So I started playing fantasy just after COVID. Actually, it's like the 2021 season. So loads of people had got into it during COVID. I was a bit behind. And in my second season, I think it must have been after that season that I was in the Scottish Bowl finals. I think that Kev then messaged me and was like, I think Kev might have forced me upon Paul and Mags, but it worked. So I'm going with it.
Wow, me and Mags were that heartfelt things, and you're like, I was fucking forced into this, okay?
Against my will.
Like Phoebe from Friends, when it's like, do you take them to be your husband? No!
No, I was saying that I was excited for the opportunity, but I think Kev may have, forced me into the threesome rather than, you two being like, do you know what I mean? Kev approached me and was like, do you want to join? And so I think Paul and Max were like, oh, I guess we'll have to go with her then. But it worked and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I hadn't really been doing much before then. I hadn't really been doing much, just playing. I've written a few bits and bobs, was trying to, do a bit more. I like the research side, who's been doing what, when, what are the trends, but I just haven't had as much time recently as I used to do all that. But no, it was so much fun to join. I was like, at first we weren't fantasy, we were just looking at the games, but I really enjoyed that. We used to pick, we all had a set of games that we had to watch and then just review them. And it was really good just to have the opportunity to sit down and watch the games properly. Nowadays, I just don't have time to, it's red zone, maybe an odd Bengals game and things. So it was nice to have the opportunity to sit and watch them properly. And then obviously we transitioned into fantasy after Mags abandoned us to move on to the Dynasty Show, which obviously was an awesome opportunity for Mags. But, it's really fun to have been involved in all of the iterations of the pod. The past 3 years, we've kind of gradually transitioned and changed and improved. And it's been so much fun working with everyone, Mags to start with, and then Lewis came on board and working with, all of us together, and then all of us as different units. It's always felt really natural and fun. And to be honest, I've really enjoyed it. For me, it's not so much been about like putting out amazing content, which we do anyway. It was about, meeting you guys and talking about what's been going on, the news, the fantasy, because me, I'm often opinionated or ask loads of questions or I have things to say, and it's fun to see what everyone else thinks and has to say about it. So it's just been so much fun working with everyone. I've had a great time, and I am gutted that we're closing it, but I think for us probably at this time it is right. But you never know what's going to happen in future. Things change. Time frees up potentially, and who knows? You may see us again at some point in the future, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. And so like I obviously came into the show later, so I'd come on I think 2 or 3 times with you guys beforehand, and obviously always had an absolute blast. And then I'd been mostly writing. I'm gonna need you guys to fill time for about 2 minutes because my fiance has just messaged me outside, which makes sense right as I would start my monologue. You guys can talk about yourself, and I'll be back online in a minute.
what we can do is we can fill this time talking about the other co-host, Lewis Veens. Who's...
and how much better he was than Lewis Wood.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's true.
But one thing, I have a quick question. Why has Lewis got a Texans player as like an image?
So that is everybody's one. So I think even if I don't know why. I think it's Duke Johnson. I think this is Kev likes Duke Johnson, and that's it. I think.
Okay,
I think that's it.
So Kev from his retirement home is still housing the.
So I don't know if he's done this. Like I don't know if he's done this as a prank or if just the login for StreamYard, when you log in, that's the picture you get, and if you don't change it, it doesn't change. I don't really know, but I noticed that last week as well. I was like, why is everyone's like Duke Johnson? That's fantastic. I was actually just looking over some of the old like names for the episodes, and there's just so many things. Like Deshaun Watson is Lord Voldemort. Like, it's fantastic.
That has stuck from I remember that from when we first started. That was one of the first ones we came up with, the Sean Watson, Lord Voldemort. And even to this day, even not just the rewind that I've heard you guys on the Dynasty Show going like Lord Voldemort himself, like, and it's, that's something that stuck. And the other one that sticks out for me, and you probably got it on your list to read out, Mags, is Andy Reid in a thong. That was
the best.
The pinnacle of where we couldn't go any higher than that,
I think we actually had 2 episodes called that. Did we not have one episode called Andy Reid in a thong again?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you weren't a host. I think you'd come on as a guest, and we still called it Andy Reid in a thong, like,
Was that from the Wheel of Death episode? I'm not quite sure. The Wheel of Death is fantastic. I love the Wheel of Death.
I forgot about the Wheel of Death.
That was amazing.
That was great. We had also Sauce's Boss, which still quite frequently said, not as much this year, but Sauce's Boss.
Dynasty Heroes, the league we're in there. My older brother's team name in that is Sauce's Boss.
That's right. Yeah. Sauce is Boss. Yeah. And then just some other great ones. I can't remember this exactly, but it made me chuckle. One episode is called Patrick Mahomes Runs Like a Dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember why, but
he does.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That episode.
Yeah.
Shall I carry on where I left off?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, I'd come on the show a few times, and I'd been mostly writing, and I did a few episodes of my own podcast, just literally me by myself, called the Fancy Fancies podcast, and then that was just horrendous. Like, I just could not get behind it. It was so much editing and so much hard work, and I was just about thinking, like, I think I'm done with this. Like, I don't think I can be bothered. I'd still like to really produce content, like audio content. Literally, like, the next week, I get a message off Paul saying, Mags is leaving. We want a third co-host. We've been talking about it, and would you be interested? And like with the job interview where you're like, oh, give me a little bit of time to think it over. And then was like, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like, I've got to play got to play it coy a little bit. But yeah, like you guys, one of the best decisions I've made. Like, I'll so miss every Monday with you guys, like developing as a content creator as well. That's now into my own YouTube. Like, the ability to sit and chat with you guys is something I've enjoyed so much, and like will really, really miss every single Monday evening.
I'm going to miss this so much because I'm quite a chatty person, and I just love, like, one of my favorite things is like when like the boys in work, they're all like more footballers and soccer fans now, you know, and like if there's like big talking points about a football game, like I can't wait to get in and just chat through the sport with them. Like, Monday morning is always amazing. We chat through the weekend of football, and that's one thing that I'm really, really going to miss is the fact that every Monday I've not got that sort of platform to sit down and just chat NFL with people. And you know, I'm really going to miss that. Just chewing up what happened. If there's talking points, oh, did he see that bit? And honestly, I might send you all voice notes. Just like, guys, did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
See Marvin Harrison Jr. get his MVP season.
Got cut. Can you believe it?
you take that back, Mags, and wash your mouth.
But I do think, obviously, Rewind lives on in the Fantasy Pancake and Dynasty Hot Seat, you know, and definitely places for people to still find. New addition to the pod.
Lewis's pussy's on camera.
She's been asleep the whole time and she wanted to get involved.
Well, that's definitely the title of the show. Farewell, Lewis. Lewis shows his pussy. Like the farewell show.
Brackets. And you reading the song.
There's had 15 million views on X because you've called it that, and everyone's like, oh. Yeah. Super disappointed when they get 57 minutes in and find out it's a cat.
Just a cat.
We'll timestamp it. It's fine.
Yeah, and I hope you guys know that you are, you know, within the minute's notice, always welcome on a Fancy Pancake show. Like, if you just get to the stage that you go, I just want to talk football, like, we can go live, the three of us, the four of us, the two of us, anything, and just talk about the week's football. Like, you guys are always welcome.
Do you use StreamYard to do it?
I can. I don't tend to, but I will.
I was going to say, I'm just thinking if I can go as the one and just live stream on the Fantasy Pancake and just set it all up and just be like, hey guys! You get a notification on your phone going, the Fantasy Pancake's live. What?
Is there anything you guys wanted to say to close off the show?
Okay, I'll be the sentimental one. I'll be the sentimental one then. I just want to say, I think this whole journey has just like made me like more confident and more, you know, it's put me out there. You've introduced me to so many people, Mags, like yourself. I've been introduced to you, and we've got such a great bond. Meeting the other Fantasy Wildcard guys who couldn't be bothered to turn up, like Matt and Kev and Ali, you know, couldn't be asked to turn up. We all turned up for Kev's last show, but he can't be asked to turn up for ours. But I'm not holding a grudge or anything. But Lewis, meeting you, Hannah, like me and you've clashed heads many a times. But I absolutely love every single one of you, and I am absolutely devastated that this is finishing. It's finishing for the right reasons. We've all got new commitments. I'm no longer free on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, anything So my time is just being taken up with everything, and I love you guys all so much, and I'm going to be really sad to see it all go. And love you.
Yeah, I mean,
Love you
I
too.
agree. Yeah, with everything Paul says, and we butt heads, but it's all in fun.
Yeah.
You guys
100%.
you guys are
100%.
like brothers, really. And I never knew that I could develop such great, friendships. I didn't know anyone who enjoyed NFL when I first started playing fantasy, and now we've got this amazing little family, really, the Wildcard family, not just for Rewind, but everyone else. And, even though we're not recording anymore, that doesn't change, that we've become great friends, and, we'll continue to enjoy NFL together and have banter and abuse Paul, and none of that will change, even though, we're not recording anymore. So it's just been an amazing opportunity, to work with you guys, and one that I will never forget. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, Mags, we're sat in the presence of two Scott Fishbowl finalists here as well.
We are actually. Yeah, that's.
You know what I mean? It's some kind of fantasy royalty here. It's.
Hey, Paul, maybe it's our turn. Maybe it's our turn next year, right?
Fucking
Maybe it'll be us.
I've played it 5 years and I've got to the fucking. I've made it to the playoffs once.
We'll just copy Lewis and Hannah's team. We'll make sure that we're in a different division than them.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go
copy
to
off
the
their
UK,
notes.
Let's do the UK FFC live draft again, and we'll just be like, Lewis, pick our teams.
Yeah. If you could do that, that'd be great. We'll be at the bar. That'd be
perfect for you two, wouldn't it? Perfect.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that would be absolutely perfect.
Here's a question, Max. Quick one. Who would you rather pick, your team, Hannah or Lewis? Because I think it's Hannah, and I don't know why.
My track record's old now. Lewis has got the newest track record. He's your better choice.
You can't go wrong. It's like who do you want? Do you want Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady as your quarterback? You're winning.
Jalen Hurts.
Not that guy. I hate that guy.
Well, I'll kind of close us off if there's not anything from anyone else. And you guys have said everything that needs saying. I love you guys like family. It's been such a joy to spend every Monday with you guys, and I will really, really thoroughly miss it. But also want to say thank you as well to people that tune in and people that have messaged questions and people that talk about anytime anyone tells me. I once had a message on Sleeper saying, I can't believe I was listening to it was a new league, and someone was like, I was listening to your show the other day and now I'm playing in a league with you, and I was like, I didn't realize people listen.
You're famous, mate. You're famous. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, you're a celebrity.
No, but it was to the world. It was to the Rewind. And thank you so much to people that have tuned in every week and people that have enjoyed the content and interacted with us. And the big thing that I want to say to anyone out there is, if you are considering doing something similar, if you have a group of friends or if you want to jump on and start up your own podcast, it is the best. It makes friendships, it gives you confidence, gives you skills you never thought you would have before. It becomes such a huge part of your life, and just having that sort of first step, I'm sure anyone can reach out to any of us for advice on setting up podcasts of their own and how to kind of get that going. But anyone listening out there thinking, I'd love that ability to sit and chat NFL once a week, is something that I think everyone should really consider doing. So if you are considering sort of following in our footsteps, you probably can even message some of the Wildcard guys and see if you want to restart the Rewind. I'm sure that all the assets are made. We've got the song. You can probably redo it. Yeah. Thank you so much to you guys. Thank you so much to everyone listening. That is going to close out the Fantasy Wildcard Rewind podcast. Do not bother following us on X or YouTube. There won't be anything else, so you don't have to follow us. Fine. But please do support everything else from the Dynasty, and the Devy shows, and the new YouTube for the Dynasty show looks absolutely fantastic. So yeah, please go and follow them, and you can follow all of us on social media as well. You can find it on Twitter. Yeah, thanks so much for listening. Thank you to you guys for having us, and goodbye, Wildcard Rewind.